We're going to start with questions on site. We have Ben with All Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and just wondering if you could speak a bit about the specific ways that you're going to protect renters, that your party, if it forms government in the next federal election, plans to protect renters, as the sign here says today.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways we can do it. One concrete example is the federal government gives insurance, CMHC, so government-backed insurance to large corporate landlords, gives them a special tax treatment, gives them direct financial assistance. We're saying not a cent of that money will go to a company that rips off renters. Not a cent of that public money will go to someone that renovates. And we know that these companies, these corporate landlords, take federal support and then go out and renovate, or go out and jack up rents, or bring in fixed term leases. That's one concrete thing. The other thing is, in general, there's lots of excuses. If a federal leader wants to find an excuse, he can find an excuse with jurisdiction. But I believe leaders don't look for excuses, they look for solutions. And some of the solutions are we could leverage the federal resources that we have, the agreements we have with provinces and municipalities, leverage those agreements to say, you need to ban rent evictions, you need to ban fixed term leases, and we will work with provinces and municipalities to make that happen. But we really need to get serious about changing the rules that have been set up for so long to rip off renters, to rip off people. We've got to protect people, and that's what we're proposing to do.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, on the topic of housing and homelessness as well, one potential solution that's been suggested by fellow MP Andy Fillmore is to convert some of the Canada Post lands here in Halifax into housing for those who can't afford housing. I don't know if you've spoken much on that specific suggestion, but would you care to share your opinion on that suggestion?
I believe we should be using every piece of federal land that is available to develop affordable homes. My concern with the Liberals, they have started using some federal land, but the majority of what's being built on that federal land, so land owned by the public, owned by all of us, is not affordable. They're using federal land to build market housing, which is not going to help someone who can't afford. Even some of the good job can't afford what the going rate is for a condo or a house right now. So we need that federal land, whether it's Canada Post land or any other federal land in cities across our country. Every square meter of federal land should be used for strictly affordable housing. And I'm talking about affordable housing. I mean, people should be able to pay their rent and have money left over to buy their groceries, to pay their bills, to save up. Not the situation where we see people are spending over half of their income on their homes. That's not affordable. So we should build on federal land, absolutely, but we need to have strict guarantees that we're building affordable homes on that land. That's something that neither Justin Trudeau has talked about, and frankly, Pierre Poilievre talks about building, but he doesn't talk about building affordable. So he's talking about helping out his rich developers. Every time you hear him talk, he's talking about building for rich developers and rich investors, not for people. We're talking about building for people, affordable homes. Lisa's going to add a couple comments on this as well.
Thank you. Just specifically on the Canada Post site at Almond Street, that is relatively close to Windsor Park, which is a federal DND site where multiple former private members' quarters, which are 100% occupied right now, have been torn down under this government. There's lots of federal land available, which isn't currently providing good jobs in our community, where frankly, building could start tomorrow. We also have the Shannon Park site, which has sat undeveloped during this entire Trudeau government, while the housing crisis, which is really a product of the rules as they have been, has just gotten more and more acute. So I think there are many opportunities that have shorter timelines and which would be more easily pursued in partnership with non-market housing providers and federal crown corporations and other agencies directly under the control of the federal government.
That's great.